Welcome to Tardy Productions. My name is Aaron. If you guys are new to the channel, that's okay. You can catch up on videos. We have a ton of them. So let's pull the bike forward real quick and we'll address what we're going to be doing today. This is our 2014 Yamaha rear shocks, turn signals, brake light, tail light, integrated all into one. The seat, the exhaust, crash bars, custom air intake, custom tank of course, foot pegs, headlight, risers, the clutch cable, the brake line, hand controls. You get the point. The bike is custom. And while the bike looks great, there's a few things about these handlebars that keep bugging. One, the brake reservoir is held on by a zip tie. Two, my bars when I crash continuously move. The third thing that we're having a problem with is these grips. They're out of control. This is terrible. This is not gonna cut it. The worst part about the handlebar setup is these reservoirs always gotta be up here and be in the way. So I have a solution. One that is very rarely seen, but it could not be more creative. Completely off topic from the handlebars, I made this helmet holder today. Pop off one of these helmets. Whoop. Nothing crazy, but I kind of like it. It only cost $6 to make. Okay, so let's go over to this cart of priorities. This is where I keep all of my I need to get this done very soon stuff. And if this isn't a hint for next week's video, I don't know what. Now we were supposed to do this week, and if you don't know what this is, definitely stick around for next week. Forrest got very sick and was unable to help me out with this. That's my I actually know what I'm doing friend. See, I'm the I'm just gonna try it out and see if it works out friend. He's more of the I actually, am a certified mechanic. But we're gonna have to wait till next week. So in spirit, Forrest will be with us here. So what we're installing today is a brand new throttle tube, these spacers for the handlebars. Then we're gonna be installing this cap, which I'll explain that later. Brake line, thrilling grips, oh my goodness. But before we start messing around with the new stuff, we gotta get all this old stuff off. Ugh, it's nasty underneath here from the old grips. Try to see if we can muster this off. That is, put that piece down. Gonna undo, there we go. So here's the old throttle tube. You can clearly see it's taking a little bit of a beating, but the biggest problem I have is not that little chip that's out of it, but this this big crack right here. This is a problem. Okay. This is why I can't have nice things. This is the old throttle tube. This is wide open. The new throttle tube, and you see how there's just this lip right here. I'm gonna drill that out the majority of the way. Now this spacer, right here, can fit clean through there. Oh no, we're good, I found it, guys. So my only other problem with these grips is that they don't have holes at the end, and since I have bar ends, I'm gonna need holes. So I put this post in there. So I'm just gonna hammer time this thing and try to, create a hole for my... That actually worked really well. What the heck? I could not have asked for that to work better. That's awesome. Pop this right out. So there's a little trick that I learned when BMXing. I'm not gonna do it right now because I don't need to because I have an air compressor, but if you don't have an air compressor, is you can use Pam cooking spray. I don't know why it works, so don't ask why it works. So it's greasy at first and it lets you slide the grip on, but then after it, you move it around and let it dry overnight, it gets so sticky. It looks good. How close it is. It's not touching. And this is how I'm gonna run my bars from now on. Completely flat. So here are my DIY spacers. Oh gosh, after I removed the riser caps, I realized how ugly these are. I'm gonna need a hammer to get these off, probably. These are the ends of mini ape hangers that I had on my very first Yamaha bolts, and I ended up getting in an accident, my very first accident on a motorcycle actually, on the road. I slid like 25 feet. Either way, but I bent those bars, and I mean, they were mini apes, so they had to go anyways, but I cut the ends off of them, cut them in half, and used them as shims. And while they served their purpose at that point, I think it's time for a little bit of an upgrade. These are the new ones, and I don't know if you notice a difference between these and the previous ones. The quality is just slightly different. Ah!
Ooh, what am I so nervous about? I didn't touch him.
Ah! Open the garage door! Get off of me! Get off! I'm in a taxi! So my biggest problem right now is that, as you can see in here, I only had room for one shim. Very clearly, not only thicker, but they're like wider. Made in China, it means it's not gonna work. What I'm going to end up doing is taking the angle grinder, and I'm gonna just cut off a few of these notches. Tomorrow we're going to have to do the brake reservoir because tonight I have homework due. It is now 8 o'clock and I have to finish my homework by midnight. This is going to be literally just the next scene. For me, it's going to be a whirlwind of stressing because I procrastinate. So the very last thing that we have to get figured out is this brake reservoir. So like we talked about last night, I'm gonna test out how these spacers do, and then I'm probably gonna end up cutting them. So we really need to get this reservoir figured out. I mean, it's just so ugly. So I have a solution for this. The solution to this problem is a lot simpler than you might think. This right here, I don't remember exactly what type of tube this is, but it's 2375 if you want to look it up yourself. Just look up 2375 tubing and I'm sure you'll find it. And this is called a Honda cap. Now that I've got it in my hands, I realize that I probably didn't need to buy this. Just a cap for this would probably be fine. But I knew that this was resistant to brake fluid because that's what it's made for, so I just went ahead and, did the safe bet and bought this. The reason I didn't start this last night and why it is a whole new day is because of one simple reason. How the heck am I gonna get brake fluid in this tube? These oral syringes are actually gonna be how I transfer this brake fluid into the tube itself, because that was a concern of mine on how I was going to carefully pour this wide mouth brake fluid bottle into this little tiny tube. Step one is going to be removing this cup. We need to get rid of the brake reservoir because it's gonna be replaced. There we go. All right. We're good. All right, so we got that whole assembly off, and because of the vacuum seal in here, it's actually not leaking very much at all. So I'm gonna leave it just like this, and we're gonna go hook up that line. Now I just gotta size up how much I want. I don't want it to be obnoxious or I'm kind of defeating the purpose. I'm gonna cut it like right there. This may be a two-hand job. I think that is going to be exceptionally snug. There we go. Oh yeah, that's good. We're gonna open this guy up. Super quick while we have the brake fluid out, I'm just gonna go ahead and put a little bit more in my rear reservoir. Why is that so hard to say? There we go. This has got to be the original brake fluid in the bike. Definitely needs to be drained and flushed out. We're good. Awesome. Honestly, I'm gonna probably end up cutting it a lot shorter just because it looks a little bit ridiculous right now. I'm interested to see how it works out. If you guys have any questions about the supplies I used or just any questions in general about the build, I'm always happy to answer any questions that you guys have. We're at over 800 subscribers right now, and hopefully when you're watching this video, we're at even more. Well, if you stuck around this long, thank you so much. You're the subscribers that I love the most. I know it's probably hard to hear me because of the rain, but I'm Aaron, this is Tardy Productions. I will see you guys in next week. Pretty smart idea. I'm a genius, so don't forget that.